You know, one of the upsides, legends of having ADHD, is that playing video games, I never get bored of them, so I just play them over and over again. So, and we're going to be doing it again today in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Now let's see how many times I die in episode 1. Okay, so how about I explain the rules before we get in? Rule number 1, just don't die. Rule number 2, try and complete the levels as quickly as possible. And rule number 3, let's just have fun with this, you know? But with all the boring intro stuff out of the way, let's cut all the rest of this intro stuff and give you legends what you want. So, let us begin! So our journey begins in episode 1, chapter 1, negotiations with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn with their ship being blasted and destroyed and them being locked in a room they break out of. And then we move into the first fight of this challenge, trying not to die. And somehow we make it through this first part. Gonna say, I did not have much faith in myself to survive. I'm really not gonna lie. And then we force-pulled these panels, ran through this room, not really much in there, moving to our second saber fight. And again, somehow we just didn't die here. We actually played sensibly and did such a good job of it as well. And then from here, we speed through this next part because there's no action and I don't like showing things boring, so we get through all of this really quickly. And then we move into the next saber fight with a bunch of droids and a power-up, so there is absolutely no chance of me dying here. Anyway, and we have to take out these droidicas as well, so, you know, along with the massive pack of droids trying to kill me, you know, we can surely get through 2 droidicas as well. You know, look at that, we're taking down the first one without a fuss, got rid of its shield, took it down without much of a fuss, and then we just died. That's not particularly helpful at all. Anyway, let's move on. Anyway, after that disaster, we open up that electrical panel, we grab our protocol droid, we open this door, and bing bang boom, first mission's over with. Alright, our chapter 2 begins with Invasion of Naboo, with Obi-Wan falling on his face and the mission starting through. Now, we're speed running through the parts where there's no droid fights. I'll try my best to slow down all of the fight scenes, like blaster fights, Jedi fights, like whatever it is we get into as we go, because I want to show them off as much as I can. Wait, Qui-Gon, what are you doing? No, we didn't want Jar Jar, we wanted him to die, damn it! Oh well, anyway, it's fine. We tried to make a what-if scenario, sorry guys, I failed. Anyway, yeah, so, like, speed through all these clips of just Jar Jar being Jar Jar. Oh wait, hang on, he's a coward, that's right, he's running backwards. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to get through those bits and just kind of show off the big main fights, you know, to see if I need to add to the death counter or not. If I do, I will, but in this situation, I didn't. These first couple of droids, I was a bit stupid and let myself get hit a couple of times, but this other one, I tried to get smart, and I still got hit, but I didn't die, so it's fine. But with that in mind, we took down these last 3 droids, we force-pushed that wall down for no legitimate reason. I was forced to use Jar Jar. Don't worry, I don't think we ever have to use them again. There are situations where we have the option to, but we don't actually have to use them. But anyway, we're going to yeet into that water with Qui-Gon Jinn because he's sick of Jar Jar as much as me, and bing bada boom, this mission is over. Alright, so Chapter 3, Escape from Naboo, shows the droids invading and the Jedi arriving just in time for the Queen to see her city be taken over and imprisoned and captured for treason, or whatever the terms for the droids. We have Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan planning an awesome rescue, Obi-Wan, your master needs help! Oh, well, it's a bit late now. What? Seriously? Come on, man. That proves that everyone says Obi-Wan's the best Jedi, but whoever made this game just really didn't want him to be that way. Anyway, we move on to this mission now with blaster characters, so no more lightsabers for the time being. So you kind of have to be a little bit more smarter. Also, I apologize for that pause. For some reason, I did a long pause. I have no idea why. But as I was saying, with blaster characters, you need to be very careful, because obviously they can't deflect blaster bolts, so the best thing to do is try and evade as much blaster fire as possible. Don't run in stupid like I did. I just did that because I had the power-up and know that I couldn't die. But if you're doing this like without perks and power-ups, like if you're doing this in the original games, you'd probably have to be a little more careful. But yeah, doing this with Padme and Panaka. If you want to know more about Panaka, he's actually got a really interesting story. everyone's story thinks that it ends after the first three movies because he's never seen. But in the comic books and the other stories, he actually has a significant role to play in a way, especially when it comes to Vader coming back to Naboo. But if you want to check that out, go and check out the Lore Master. He's one of the best providers on the internet of Star Wars knowledge. Basically, comic books, movies, shows. He knows basically everything. But anyway, so I had this moment where my recording stopped, so I had to awkwardly leave my character standing to start it again, which is why I almost died for a second time. But luckily, I was able to react quick enough and not die. And I don't know why I tried to jump on that thing, knowing I needed a blaster character to do it. But anyway, we got through that room, and now we move on to the final area, which has a bunch of droids for us to fight, which is interesting enough as it is. I have no idea why I never switched to a Jedi character in this first bit, like in this last bit. I don't know why I did that. But, you know, I did it towards the end, so I kind of saved myself in that last little frame. There are these buttons that you have to click on top of those green, I don't know, windows, but for some reason my brain just figured out, oh, we do it here. But I clicked the wrong button, so I had to double back and click on the middle one when I remembered that it's the middle one that opens your way to exit the mission. So I did that. I switched to ep1 and I just ran for my life. There was a pair of droids there, but I ignored them and I just wanted to keep moving. So down the rabbit hole. And yeah, again. And also, do you know what these droids are referencing? If anyone can you let me know in the comments? Because to this day, I don't know what they're referencing. But anyway, bing, bang, boom. That is chapter 3. Alright, so chapter 4, Master Esper pod race. Yes, this mission. Now, I don't have any bad ill will towards this mission, other than Obi-Wan being useless in fixing ship parts, but anyway, since he can't really help, Qui-Gon Jinn has to go into the town and go to a store and see if he can find the part. And we are bear witness to something called... Anyway, let's move on from that. Now, after realizing Qui-Gon Jinn is too broke, some little boy says he can win them the money in a dangerous race that I sure hope doesn't involve any sort of death in it. Nah, we were fine. The whole process, there wasn't really any much of a worry except for these annoying things called Tusken Raiders shooting at us, which I personally did not appreciate, but, you know, they don't really understand English according to the show, so we can't really tell them to stop. Or maybe they do. Maybe there was just no scenes. You know what, guys? If you've made it through this far in the video, add a comment saying justice for the Raiders. I don't know, the Tusken Raiders. Yes, the Tusken Raiders. Anyway, other than me losing my words, we advance heavily in this race, trying to catch up to the number one, and the one that everyone has says will win is Saboba, who is a dirty cheater, as we're about to see in 3, 2... Yeah, he basically just knocks another guy and sends that guy to his death. So, justice for that pod racer, but we don't know him and it's not in any of our characters, so we unfortunately can't add him to the death counter. I'm severely sorry. Anyway, we continue to move through, catching up to Saboba as we got through that disaster that he absolutely smacked, which wasn't helpful. And now there are rocks falling. That's always nice. The idea for this is to try and go to the corners and then dash to the front to do the best you can to avoid the blaster shots. Sometimes you're going to get hit. Sometimes you're going to avoid it. There have been a couple of occasions where people... I mean, hell, I've watched speedruns of this game, and I've even seen speedrunners struggle through it. I've seen speedrunners die, and then they have to reset, and it's just quite fun. But in general, there are ways to avoid it. So, you know, just do what I do, and you'll be perfectly fine. But now, with apparently everyone else out of the race, for some mysterious reason, it's just us and Saboba, so we better keep moving. Even though it shows on the map that... Well, no, I don't think it showed for me, but for some reason it also shows other pods occasionally, but as I've mentioned just a second ago, for me it didn't, so I got pretty lucky. And as we surpassed Saboba, because he sucks as a rider, even though he got close to us and maybe made us feel scared as we went through, you know, still sucked, so it was fine. And for some reason, his can fly. His, for some reason, went over, which I have never seen before, but... You know, that's fine, and then he just magically reappears. But it doesn't matter, because we're, like, so far ahead of him, so it doesn't really matter at all, because, you know, he's just gone, and it's kind of just the end of the story, and there's not really anything else to worry about, so, yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. Lots of money, and yeah, bing, bada boom, we complete chapter 4, which was a hell of a lot of fun racing as Anakin. Let's leave no reference to his age whatsoever. Alright, so moving to chapter 5, retake of Theed Palace. I'm gonna warn you that, yeah, I really did not do well in this one. As you can see, I just struggled with a bunch of fire, and I realized that I just had to hold the stick and pray that it would at least hit a few of them, but I was dumb and didn't realize that holding it just deflects them everywhere, so in the midst of that, I tried to run away and come back, and then boom, we unfortunately died again. So 2 deaths now, and yeah, it just didn't quite go down well. But anyway, I realized that I kind of had to run around and kind of take out a couple of the droids at the bottom so I could build this. And I moved to one of the other perks of this game, which is droid characters. Now, if you change into a droid character, the other droids or even most of the enemies, for some reason, just will not attack droids. And to this day, I've never known why. And oh, looks like we died a 3rd time. Yeah, like I said, I made a couple of mistakes in this one, and I got so annoyed while I was playing the game. There were times where I was thinking to myself, do I really want to continue this? But I thought to myself, well, I've gotten this far, so let's finish it off. But anyway, after absolutely taking out my rage on these droids, no reason to absolutely lose our mind. Let's just take them out on fictional droid characters in a Lego game. Anyway, other than the jokes aside of my mental health, we continued through taking out scores of droids through each and every location. I know there's a lot that I could have done with studs and build up, but at this stage I was kind of in that mindset of I just want to finish the missions off. This one specifically because this one's the longest and the most painful, especially if you go back playing this game in free play, trying to get True Jedi, which is for collecting 90% of the studs. And believe me, it's a pain in the ass. Even if you go through this without dying once, collecting every stud, you have to collect essentially every stud that this level offers in order to get it. Maybe, if you guys have ever had an easier time with it, let me know in the comments, but every time I've gone for True Jedi, when I've gone for trying to complete 100% in this mission, I have always struggled. There's never been a circumstance where this has gone easy, except for when I get score multipliers, but when I was a young kid trying to do all the collectibles, I didn't really know or understand the concepts of extras and other stuff like that. So, and also apologies for the cut. I unfortunately, since I did the recording on Xbox, there's a time limit to how long you can record, and I exceeded that time limit, so I kind of needed to squish everything together. But anyway, other than those worries, we have to play as little Anakin because he can crawl through holes, which is just I don't even know what to say about that. But anyway, but other than all that, we move on and we keep going. I tried to switch to another character because I did not want to play as a child for an extended period of time. I only wanted to do that for a little bit. Plus, the Jedi and Blaster characters are more fun. I mostly did stick with the Jedi characters because for obvious reasons I can be protected from blaster fire a lot easier, and I kind of just wanted to get through. I was already frustrated enough at the fact that I already had died multiple times, and yeah, I kind of just wanted to push through. So, but yeah, force pull that ledge so we can get the Jedi across, and then realizing I had to jump down because there are other certain bits and pieces we need to set up for the other characters to make it up there. So like Anakin, the droid, etc. Launching that platform for R2 to climb on. That for the blaster characters, which I got up there as quickly as I could, just so I didn't have to go through the process, because the Jedi character... Excuse me, Qui-Gon. How dare you take my spot? Anyway. Yeah, for some reason, they get up there a lot quicker, so it was just a way for me to save a little bit of time. Which, as a side note, I am still counting the time. I'm gonna leave a little text on the screen saying how long this took me in total. I do already know the result, and believe me, I was very surprised at how long it took me. I'm not going to spoil anything beyond that. We'll save that for the last chapter. But yeah, after taking out more scores of droids, we get through here, taking out another droidica, which again, looking back, I definitely could have done this a lot smarter than I did. But in the moment, I guess I wasn't really thinking it from a logical point of view, so kind of just wanted to move through it and move forward. But luckily, we're about to enter into the last room, which sets you up to have to save hostages. Well, a bunch of the pilots that the droid's taken prisoner, which I've never understood. Seriously, you're a human. You know, you can move faster than these droids. Surely you can take them down, grab their blasters, and kill them without, or destroy them without a fuss. But anyway, I guess, what do I know? But moving over here, I actually had a little bit of a panic attack after I set this up. So initially, I was going to use that ledge to jump onto this one and jump up, but I realized I couldn't reach. So I was like, oh, logically I need this one. And then I was like, I couldn't actually reach it. So I tried a couple of different strategies in order to get up there, and I was actually panicking for a minute, thinking I would have to restart the level. But after a little while, for some really strange reason, as you can see, it was just me having a bit of a panic attack. But yeah, at the end of it, for some weird and idiotic reason, which we'll get to in half a second once everyone figures it out, is that jumping backwards, you can get up there. I've never, I don't know, maybe I'm just an idiot and maybe I just didn't know. But yeah, for some reason, jumping backwards can make you jump just a little bit more higher. So yeah, it was just one of those things that bothered me. And yeah, for this one, I tried thinking ahead because I was like, oh, I got screwed over last time, so I'm not going to let that happen again. So I still tried, and luckily I just made it. Just made it over here, so I could take this droid out and free this young man, which they never say thank you or show any sort of appreciation, which really does bother me because, we're running around taking up energy. Like, come on, seriously, you can't just say thank you? Seriously? Anyway, other than begging for appreciation, we did unfortunately die again. But after licking my wounds of dying a fourth time, trust me, you would not have wanted to be there with my reaction dying the fourth time. I might have got a little bit annoyed because the whole premise of this video is to try and not die, and legit every single time I've died, I've done something really stupid. To be honest with you, Legends, I actually wanted to do this again. I actually wanted to go back, just forget about this, and I wanted to try again. But I thought to myself, no, let's be honest instead of lying. I'm not a pro player, and I was never trying to be. But after all that goddamn disaster, bing, bada frickin' boom, we beat Chapter 5, and I really, really hope that we don't have to deal with this in Chapter 6. Okay, so after the disaster that Chapter 5 was, we moved to Chapter 6, Darth Maul, one of my favorite overall Star Wars characters. Now, I really hope nothing goes wrong in this one. Anyway, let's worry about those potential pains in the neck when we get to them. This first phase is very easy. It's just 4 droids that come out and fire at you. You just have to deflect them all back. And, they're all gone. I got hit once or twice, but it wasn't a big deal. And then he, force pulls these container thingies at you, and you just have to repel them back. Like I said, this first phase is not difficult, and I was not worried in any capacity in this first bit. He kind of just runs away like a coward, so you just have to pull the bridge together so you can run across. I did also speed up this next bit, because this next bit is just chasing him through a room, and there's not really anything interesting happening at the moment, so yeah, I kind of just wanted to get through this bit. I still don't understand how Qui-Gon could just yeet himself over across that far when we had to double jump, but, anyway, that's besides the point. And again, Darth Maul runs away like an absolute coward, and he pulls the bridge down. You got 2 sets of droids to fight, and I'm sure this won't be a pain in the ass in any capacity at all. But anyway, you have to reach the commanders and take them out first because they're the annoying one. And if you just constantly take out the droids, then, they're just going to keep on coming. And as a child, I didn't understand this premise. So my friends had to help me through this next phase. So, but other than that, it was fine, But yeah, getting through this was just fine. And yeah, with all great... Okay, fine. I'll fit that one. Add to the death counter, number 5. Anyway, despite all of that, we keep moving through and defeat all the droids, and we move to the droidicas, which for some reason start firing at me from over in the corner. I've never ever had that problem in the past. I've never had that issue before. So I don't know what was happening there. I almost died for a 6th time, but luckily I managed to pull my smart pants on and defeat them. And I walked into this final fight with only 1 heart, which was a little bit of a pain in the neck, but I was confident in getting through this. You know, surely we weren't going to go down at the 6th time, right? Like, just, you know, be too crazy of a coincidence if that was to happen. And since Darth Maul continues to run away like a coward, we have to chase after him. But unfortunately, he puts himself into a corner, essentially to a point where he cannot escape. So he's forced to fight us whether he wants to or not. I go in for the attack, blocking his attacks, trying not to get hit. He jumps and runs away like a little coward, so we have to continue to follow him. And one thing I did not get is I kept on trying to attack him a couple of times, but he kept on fleeing, and I didn't understand why until I just lost my patience and jumped. Okay, looks like we died a 6th time. Well, let's just please pass me. Please don't make it 7. Just defeat the guy already. That's all I ask. Just defeat the guy. Oh yeah, and there's also this phase where he jumps up on these ledges and he like force throws things at you. But again, it's another situation of you easily being able to, you know, throw them back, and that's kind of the end of it. So, but luckily, and I will say this now, we did not make it 7, and we made it well, it looks like Qui-Gon's gone. But yeah, we all know that Obi-Wan defeats him, throws him down, gets himself thrown off first. Alright, so now we've reached the end. Quick recap. The total time was 27 minutes and 17 seconds, and we had 6 deaths. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who watched this video in its entirety. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would really appreciate it. I just appreciate you Legends watching in general. I hope you all have a lovely day or night wherever you reside in this beautiful world. Bye, Legends.